welcome back to another Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. ClickTalk, where I discuss sets from commons to chases. It's been a while, and most of that has to do with just wrapping up my final semester of undergraduate college. So, yeah, hopefully in the summer I'll try and take this shit to the next level and try and bring some of you guys in. But for now, we're going to be going into a character who you might recognize from the TV shows, and you might recognize from the comic books. He's actually been having a pretty good run recently. But yeah, we're going to jump into him just as soon as we can. And yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so the character we will be discussing today is Dum Dum Dugan. Now, this is a character from who you might recognize from Captain America the First Avenger or the Agent Carter spinoff. He was the one with the bowler hat and the circular mustache. And he's also been having a pretty solid comic book run as the leader of a crack team of S.H.I.E.L.D. called the Howling Commandos, which formed this group called Shade, I believe, which Shade deals with all the supernatural elements and things like that S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't normally capable of handling. So you got Shade, which works for S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a secret organization outside of the standard U.S. intelligence agency. So yeah, layers within layers, essentially, with Nick Fury at the head, obviously. But overall, the sculpt is pretty solid. He's got his bowler hat, and he's got gun holster, and he looks pretty well like his comic book character, as he should. He is the first uncommon of the set with the S.H.I.E.L.D. team ability. 60 points, so he can fit pretty well into any team. Standard dial, he has a star ability, and for double lightning, 4 square, 2 characters 4 squares away, which really ties into the fact, which is mentioned in his card, Dum Dum Dugan usually wields a shotgun or things like that. He's not a machine gunner, and he's not a fighter. He is a standard shotgun type guy. But yeah, he's got a pretty good setup dial. Alright, in terms of powers, we start off with he has the Changing the World ability, as shown in previous clicks. His is Tactical Maneuvering. Opposing characters who are adjacent to 2 or more friendly characters to Dum Dum Dugan cannot use Willpower or Sidestep. Sidestep is pretty solid. I actually really enjoy having it because it can give you, if you have Sidestep and maybe like Running Shot or Hypersonic Speed built in as a star power or something like that, then you can use Sidestep as a breakaway attempt and then make a ranged combat attack, or you can use Sidestep to follow up with another ability, or you can just use Sidestep to get away from the weak guy who's holding you back and hit the main guy. And other than that, it doesn't really cost you anything. So you could use Sidestep for 2, move full, or you could use Sidestep for 2, make an attack, Sidestep for 2, and then you have Poison to activate or something like that. But overall, Sidestep, pretty solid power. And I mention it because on Dum Dum's first dial, he's got Sidestep for 3 of his clicks. And he's also rocking, as I mentioned, he has a shotgun, and that gives him Energy Explosion for his 2 clicks. Then he's got Toughness for 2, and Leadership, which alternates with Empower throughout his whole dial. He's got Leadership and Power, and then Empower on his final 5th dial. Yes. Yeah, on his 5th dial. Let's see. Sidestep, great. Energy Explosion, always fun. The fact that he has double lightning makes it pretty useful. I like using Energy Explosion when my opponent doesn't know that I'm running it and he has his characters a little too close together. Or if your character is using, say, has some sort of support or something like that, like going up against the White Lanterns. I used Energy Explosion in the Warlight tournament. I used Energy Explosion on like the 2nd or 3rd turn against the White Lanterns because he put his entity right next to his two most powerful characters. I split my focus on those two characters, and hit them, and activated, or wait, no. I hit the main character, used the energy explosion off that to hit both of the characters and dealt damage to them. But yeah, energy explosion is great. And toughness, don't really need to go into the details about that. It's a good way to reduce a little bit of damage, keep your characters on the field just a little bit longer. Leadership and empower, those two things alternating back and forth, means that you want to keep this guy close to a character who is slightly weaker or roughly equivalent to Dum Dum Dugan. At 60 points, that might be a little bit challenging, but there are characters out there. Pretty much all the shield agents I reviewed up to this point were 50 points or less. Dum Dum could be a leader for them. Leadership is great, especially if you're doing Swarm like I usually do. It gives you more action tokens to use per turn. It gives you, helps you clear off action tokens from some of your characters that you've used before, so you can use them again without taking pushing damage. Leadership is definitely something to have if you're playing multi-character like me. And then after that, he starts to transition into his final two, where he gains willpower and empower, a special called Howlers until the end, and Force Blast. So Force Blast kind of plays in with the whole shotgun thing. He's firing a shotgun and blasting the person X number of squares away. It's an interesting choice to use Force Blast. Like if you wanted to knock someone so they couldn't hit you, you could use Force Blast in a supporting type role. If you were fighting on a lot of buildings, you could use Force Blast to knock the person off the building. That's another application you could use it for. Generally, I don't usually run Force Blast just because it's kind of a situationally focused type power, but I can see the applications, especially when I'm running my Captain America Sentinel, where you can use Force Blast and deal damage. Then it's great because you can push characters away from you, push them off buildings, push them into areas where you can then do more damage, as well as doing your normal damage. Using it more as like a free action sort of thing is a little bit more my speed. Then Howlers Until the End is a special which basically says that adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with Dum Dum Dugan, those being Howling Commando, Past, Shield, or Soldier, can be given a non-free action even if they have 2 action tokens. When you do and actions resolve, that character is dealt 1 unavoidable damage and doesn't clear action tokens this turn. Essentially, if the character is friendly to Dum Dum Dugan and adjacent to him, Dum Dum Dugan grants them Colossal Stamina. Colossal Stamina is definitely great. It allows you to keep using your really big heavy hitter characters like Hulkbuster, Necron's got it, Power Batteries have it, my Captain America Sentinel that I really enjoy using, he's got it. That is a very interesting power, and I definitely enjoy it, especially if you use it to give it to like a weaker character and just use them. Or if a character is really important and you really want to keep using them, like you're running Captain America or Deadpool or something, and they can keep pushing it or they can regenerate at the end or something like that, then you could use it. But overall, it's a cool ability, and I enjoy seeing it. I'd love to see it in practice at some point. I'm actually right now putting together a Howling Commandos team, because, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sergeant Fury and Nick Fury, so I might as well put together a Howling Commandos team for him to run on. But anyways, he's also got willpower for his final 3 dials, which allows him to keep moving, keep acting, willpower. Don't need to go into the details on that. It's awesome. Overall, his powers are pretty solid. No real complaints. They've got applications, all of them. As long as you can find the right situations, they work. Moving on. Alright, lastly, well, not really lastly, but last on this side of the field, his stats. He's got starting 8, 10, 17, 3, which is okay, not great. He drops down to an 8, 9, 16, 2, and then keeps that until his last dial where he goes 7, 10, 16, 2. So he he keeps a pretty standard attack level. It drops a little bit when he starts to wear down, and then if you're lucky enough to land on his last dial, he kind of gets his last surge to do stuff. Speed, not great, but not horrible. I've seen characters who are faster. I've seen characters who are slower. His defense, 17 is solid enough. It's any ranged combat expert's probably going to have an easy time knocking him down. But overall, 17, most characters are running about a 10, so you're a little vulnerable. Statistically, the odds are in their favor that they're going to hit you. 18, the odds are in your favor that they're not going to hit you. But it's better than the 16 that he gets partway down the dial. The 3 attack is solid. That allows you to destroy blocking terrain and things like that and deal enough damage. Allows you to overcome invincible or invulnerable and impervious if they're running that. But then he drops down to 2, which makes him a little less valuable. He definitely turns into more of a supporting character. That's probably why they give him Force Blast at that point, because they know 2 isn't enough damage to damage a lot of things. You can use the Force Blast to knock him into or off of things to do the damage instead of him actually doing it. But based on the leadership, the empower, the Howlers Until the End ability, those sorts of things, this character is definitely something I would classify as more of a supporting character. Someone to include as well as a heavy hitter like a front runner Nick Fury or a Captain America or something like that. He seems more of a supplement and less of a straight up heavy hitter on his own. But yeah, let's move on to the final segment. All right, to deal with this character, he's got toughness, he's got sidestep, and he's got an average defense. So overall, this character is not easy not a lot of trouble. Just take your heavy hitter, take your mid-range hitter, anybody with an attack of 10 or higher, and just hit them. If you got someone running about 5 with some sort of penetrating damage, you could probably kill this guy in a single hit. If you got 2 characters who are mid-level, maybe running attack 11 damage 3 or attack 10 damage 3, they could clear them off the field on their own. You know, as long as the dice land in your favor, obviously. Overall, not a challenge. Nothing really defensively to protect him. He really relies on being not as valuable as the other guy, so you don't really focus on him, and then he turns into a pain in the ass by helping the other guy kick you. Energy explosion, you're going to want to keep your characters separate, especially if they're trying to deal with this guy. Don't let them bunch up. Even if you're running swarm, just keep them separate until he's off the field. Get rid of him, then you can clump them up for things like that. With a range of 4, you can probably just snipe this guy. Easy enough, no problem. A close combat fighter probably wouldn't have any difficulty dealing with him either, so don't be afraid to just run in and hit him. He's not a durable character, he's a supporting character. You don't have to worry too much about how to deal with him. You just need to choose to deal with him, and then he's dealt with. So yeah, that concludes our Click Talk segment on Dum Dum Dugan. And I got some really great characters coming down the pipe. One of my absolute favorite characters in this set will be coming up very, very shortly. So keep an eye out for that, and until then, take care.